Hi and welcome back to our writing task 1 letter writing classes, and here we are with the last type, that is type 3, informal letter. So the word informal itself clarifies that this is a type of letter which we have to write to persons whom we know very personally, our friends, our relatives, family members, best friends, colleagues, the best colleagues, friends at work can be a part of all these. So here goes an informal letter. The difference between formal, semi-formal and informal letter is that you can actually be a bit informal here. You can use the words sentence with exclamatory signs here, because it can actually make a difference that yes, this is an informal letter. The way we converse with our friends or family is somewhat different to how we convey our viewpoints to someone in a formal place. So here is a question. In this question, we have to write a letter to one of our best friends who lives overseas, that you have moved to a new house. You have to inform him about it. So you have to say why you did so, what was the reason for your shifting the place. And the second place, you have to say explain your new house. Because you have shifted to a new house, you have to say the reasons and you have to explain it. Followed by, you can tell him that if he visits you, you will be really happy to have him at your new place. So these are a few requirements that you need to fulfill. So again, one more important thing, you might feel that these are quite easy topics. So mind my words, friends, the topics which come in the exam are really very easy to understand, interpret, because the examination name itself is IELTS General. So general means it will be like anything general from the society, from our day-to-day happenings around us. Only topics regarding these activities will come in the exam. It's only that sometimes what we do is, like they have mentioned here, if I take an example, that your friend overseas. So you might not mention anything about being overseas in your letter, so you won't get full marks for your task achievement. So you can say these are the silly places where we actually lose our marks. We just ignore one or two words from the question which should definitely form a part in our answer, and that's where we lack in task achievement, which is a very first requirement of writing. So you have to be very careful about each and every minute detail. See, make a habit that whichever word is written in the question has a meaning and should definitely form a part in your answer. There is no such word which is, being uselessly written in the question. So even the word overseas friend, you would say any friend. How does it matter? But it really matters for your marking. So see how we have to include that also in our write-up. So he'll say, dear, you can write the name, any name. Hope this letter finds you well. So this we generally don't write in any other two types of letters, because we don't have to be informal with those persons. But here he's your best friend, so you can definitely first ask him that I hope you're doing well. Then I'm writing to just let you know that I have moved to a new place. So because that was the only requirement, that you have to let him know, inform him a kind of, that you have moved to a new house. So as you know, so now, because he's your best friend, even if he's living overseas, he's still your best friend. That means you must be in regular contact with him. So he must be knowing about some activities going on in your life. So we can definitely start with as you know. And moreover, this will serve as a connector, turning our sentence into a complex structure, which is again a requirement for marking. So we can say, as you know, I went for an interview for a job here in Australia. So now here in Australia, why? Because he's overseas. So we are including that portion in this sentence. Here in Australia, luckily, I got the position. So, but it's seen now, luckily again, the first we used as we know, then we used luckily, then we are using but. So if you are following, if you actually start thinking like this, that okay, this is my idea, but what can I use before that? What kind of connector can I use so that it matches with the point that I'm going to present? If you start thinking that way, there are many connectors that you can use. Will definitely find So firstly, as you know, beforehand information, the present, luckily I got the job, but there was something. But comma, it seemed next to impossible to travel that far from my current accommodation every day. So instead of current, we can write from my previous, actually. Oh yeah, I found a mistake. But it seemed next to impossible to travel that far every day from my previous accommodation. So that is the reason, because they said why you did so, why you moved to a new place. So we need to think of a story that, okay, I have shifted to a new house. What can I link that to? Maybe my accommodation was not good or was quite small one. The surroundings were not very good. So you need to find one reason. So I have found this one, that I got a new job and it was quite far from my previous accommodation every day. So we have found a new one. You can write we have found or I have found, depending upon how many people you are including. So now you have to, next requirement is you need to explain your new house. So it is situated in a this then that place will again be a simple sentence which we can avoid. We have to try to avoid as much as we can. So we are writing situated in a quiet area of Sydney called the dash. Now you can fill anything, comma. It isn't very big or lavish apartment. Something negative, that it's not quite big, or you can actually avoid the word saying very with. It's not really big, or it's not massive or lavish apartment, but enough to sustain me. If you're not including anyone else, you can write but enough to sustain me, or you can write, if you're including someone with you, you can write but enough to sustain both of us. On the brighter side, it has nice big windows. Now again, on the brighter side, because firstly you mentioned something negative, so now you're moving on to something positive. There is a contrast, so that it's always good to use a connector. So we cannot say in contrast, because that won't be very informal here according to the type of information that we are putting. So we have used that on the brighter side, it has nice big windows to give a riverside view outside, wonderful view of the river outside. So that is a brief explanation about your house. Depending upon your word limit or the number of words which you have used and how many are left, you can definitely elaborate this further. Now next, you have to tell him that you will be happy to host him. So if we haven't used a conditional sentence yet, so we have put it here. If you ever plan to visit Australia, I would be the happiest to host you. Now, because you need to tell him that you would like to see him, so we have put it into a conditional sentence that if you ever plan a trip, if you ever fancy a trip, if you ever think of visiting Australia, then I would be the happiest to host you. Now again, you are using last form, so always remember to put the before that. Do let me know your plan in advance so that I can plan some exciting activities for both of us. Just a bit getting informal with your friend, that whenever you plan, just let me know in advance. I'll plan something exciting or the best places for sightseeing for us. I'll make a list of best sightseeing places for us, or anything you can add. And in the end, you can just say, keep in touch. We'll like to know what's going on in your life, or you can write anything informal like this. And in the end, yours lovingly can go, warm regards can go, and your name at the end. So again, like every other letter, we have to use complex sentences, connectors, as many as we can, conditional, at least one conditional sentence, going in a flow, thinking of a logical reason of why you are writing. The requirements of the question should be thought in a logical manner, that we have shifted, we have to explain to an overseas friend. All these things have to be kept in mind before you plan up your write-up. So some vocab words definitely on wonderful river side view, exciting activities, sustain, me, lavish. So all these words will fulfill your requirement for vocabulary words. So Here it is, go through it, read it again, listen to it again, note down the words, note down the important key ideas that I have kept you need to keep in mind, and then try an informal letter yourself. Try to put in as much as you can from here, and you will definitely do really good one. So any doubts, we are always there to help you, to assist you, to give you feedback as always. Till then, keep practicing, keep learning so that you keep improving. Thank you.